Hello and welcome. You are about to learn how to close a sale every time. Now, if you're going to do this, you have to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. First of all, when you're going out to sell your product, you're going to be selling the same product that everybody else is selling, which is a huge negative. So, your number one objective is to say or show them, the client or customer, how different your company is from the other company. Now, in most cases, they will have already done research on the web and found your company, found the other company, and you pretty much know your competition, or you should. And you should know, what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. So, what I'm about to show you or tell you is that in most cases, if a person is calling up a particular company, let's just say it's a roofing, siding company, or home improvement company, they've done the research, or they should have done the research on your company as opposed to the other companies that they're going to be getting involved with. And they pretty much have an idea, you know, you're going to be probably equal at that point. So, what you need to do is separate yourself from that other company. The number one way to do that is price. So, if your price is higher than their price, if your price is going to be, if I've heard this before, you are twice as much as the next guy, twice as much as the next guy. And I know you guys out there and girls out there who are selling have heard this many, many times. Your price is twice as much. Why would I even think about using you? Get out of here. Blah blah blah, which is very, very well expected. And you probably sat there and went, "Whew, how am I going to compete with that?" And in many cases, you have no answer to that comeback. To where they go, it's half the price. So you say, well, there's nothing I can do about that, and blah, blah, you're on your way. Sale lost. But there's always something you can do. Always, always something you can do. The first thing I would tell you to do is ask them, not to show you, you don't have to see the other person's invoice. What you need to do is explain to them in very clear terms, how do you think that person is doing the same job with the same materials, with the same labor, because the labor force is coming out of the same area? How in the world do you think they're doing this job for half the price? So instead of saying, oh, I can't compete with that, what you should be doing is saying, how can I explain that doesn't work to this person? And what you need to do is fully, fully explain how it doesn't work. In other words, have them say to you, what do you expect to pay? Did you expect to pay 10,000 instead of 20,000? Did you expect to get the same quality at 10,000? How do you think this other contractor is selling his product for half the price? I mean, it just is impossible to do unless something's going on. And that's what you need to explain. And you need to explain it very clearly to the client or the potential customer that, do you really want to get involved in someone that is half the price? Do you really think this job could be done for half the price? I mean, get more estimates, see where they're coming in at, and I'm quite sure they're all going to be in the range of the 20,000 area, because that's what this job is going for. But again, I know your instinct as a buyer is to pay half the price. And I know that's what your instinct is telling you to do. But what you should do is look at the reality of the situation and say to yourself, how in the world is this one particular contractor going to do it for half the price? All right, let's say, okay, he's got a cheaper labor force. And a cheaper labor force is probably not a good idea to get involved with. Let's also say he did 10 roofs, he got a bunch of material for free. So he's actually going to give you that free material? I mean, it just doesn't add up. Let's also say, he's just trying to get the job and he's going to do it at a loss because he just wants to get the work and maybe he just wants to keep his guys busy. I've heard that many times. That just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's just not the way to secure a contractor to where you'd feel comfortable. So really, what you need to do is explain to the client that if someone is going to give you a number at half the price, please do your homework and really find out how is he doing it for 10,000. As opposed to how's everybody else doing it for 20, 25,000, whatever the other price is. You really need to do your homework on this person that's going to come in at 10,000. And what I would really say to you when you're with this client or any client that you're going to be with is when you are with them, the number one thing that you want to say is, what can I do today to help you save time, which is money, in closing this deal? Like, what are your expectations before I got here? And have I met your expectations? And if I haven't, I want to answer whatever question you have so that we can actually get this deal done today. Because otherwise, you're going to be calling another contractor. You got to meet with him. He might show up. He might show up on time, might show up late. And you have to spin your wheels all over again. And on my side, what I have to do is I'm going to have to go back to the office. You might call in 2 days. I got to find your paperwork. I got to go through everything again, which is fine by me. But again, if we could close it today and I could answer your questions and your concerns, and I know your number one concern is going to be money. Why is he $10,000 less than me? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because we are doing the job professionally. We're going to be doing the job correctly. And when you ask us to show up, we're going to show up on time. And I know everybody else is telling you the same thing. But again, I know you checked out our track record. You checked out everybody else's track record. It's just the way we operate. All of our guys and girls who are working with us are all professional. We've all been doing it for many years. And again, the other company may be doing it for many years. But the biggest question I have for you today is, what can I do so that you feel so secure, so very secure in hiring us today? What can I do? What are your concerns? Well, my concern is you're $10,000 higher. So why would I use you? Well, that is a concern, but I think what you should be asking yourself is, how are they doing it for so much less? Not why are we doing it for so much more? I think because if you find out, and I know maybe we're your first estimate, your second estimate because you got one for 10,000 and we're one at 20,000. If you're gonna find, that you're gonna do some more of these estimates and get some more bids, you're gonna find there should be around the 20, to 25 range. And now you really have to ask yourself, do you want to get involved in someone that's coming in so low? Now, maybe your neighbor just had them do their house or whatever, and everything worked out great, and let's use them. All right? And now, maybe you're going to use them. And then, months down the road come up, everything went well. Months down the road come up, It starts snowing, it starts raining hard, blah, 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 blah. Oh, all of a sudden we find out they didn't lay the shingles out correctly, or they didn't use the right nail pattern correctly, or whatever the situation is in a siding situation. They didn't do that correctly as far as nailing, through the siding into the stud. You have to explain in full detail what you're doing and why you're doing it better than the next guy. And once you do that and you give them the full picture, they really have no choice but to use you. So it's in the end, yes, each contractor is going to use the same material. Each contractor is going to have the same crew, so to speak. It's up to you as a salesperson to point out why they should use you versus why they should use somebody else. And that's why the sales guy or girl make the money, because they know how to manipulate the conversation into their favor. And not that you're doing anything wrong, but they understand that this is a person that has zero knowledge of the business, and they need guidance and they need to understand better what you're doing. So when you as a salesperson get on that job, you have to fully lay out what you're going to do. Now, I've heard salespeople go on calls, they're there for 15 minutes. I mean, are you kidding me? A sales call should be a minimum of 1 hour. And in that time, you're trying to feel out exactly what these people are looking for, exactly what their budget is. I mean, that's a big one. You want to know where their budget is lying, and then you need to make something work, whether it be, they want to do an entire siding job or an entire roof job, but you're seeing their budget is only letting them do maybe half of the job. So what you need to do is also offer pieces of their project, sections of their project, if you will, that can be done in a time frame, and say, listen, your budget is this much, this is where the job is coming out, and this is why the job is coming out, and this is where the number is, and this is why the number is. So when you get bids, they should be in this range. So now it's up to you to pick the person that's going to do the proper job the first time. And if your budget is only so much, why don't we think about a plan that actually does sections of this project? Section A, B, C, whatever you want to call it, one, two, three, to where as their money comes in, they start, they can repair their home, and they can repair it the proper way throughout the course of 2 years. Let's come up with a plan for them. Let's come up with a plan that works. Because it's not a matter of, did you get that whole job? It's a matter of these people called you because they need something done. And if you go there and you just act as though, oh, well, their budget doesn't make it, oh, they only want to spend half the amount of money, no, that doesn't work. What you have to do is get creative and understand these people called because they need the work done. They are now just looking for the right contractor, the right price, and the right people to get it done. So now you need to explain this in full detail, how much better you are, how the price should all be relatively the same, and how your experience is going to prove that the project that they go with you is going to be the better project in the end, because you are going to explain to them what they're doing in full detail. In other words, how when they do the siding, they don't just nail into the plywood, they nail the plywood through to the stud, or the stud on the other side. So, things like that. It's the roofing, the way that that's laid out, the valleys, the way the roof drip edge goes over the gutter, I'm just using this as an example, but whatever your trade is, this is what you should be doing in full detail. And then always ask, is there any questions you may have? Did I fulfill all your questions? Do you need any other questions answered? How can we help you today? Again, the point is today. I want to help you so that you don't have to keep calling contractors, keep trying to get an estimate, keep going through this. My job as a salesperson is to do everything right then and there. And another thing I just want to say is when you go on the call, always, always have the decision makers present. Otherwise, do not go on that call. Always have the decision makers present. And that's done because you don't want to be spinning your wheels with the husband and then he's got to get back to the wife or whoever, the boyfriend, the girl, whatever it is. Everybody that's going to be involved in this situation, I would like there, because when I do my presentation, I want to explain it all, and each different person may have a different question, and I want to answer those questions. That's why you want all the decision makers there. Also, we want them there to sign the check, obviously. All right. So again, your main objective is to close that deal that day, that same day, where you explained everything in full detail. You explained what the whole process is, because the more they're knowledgeable as far as what you're doing, and the more time you take in the details of the project, as far as cleaning up, as far as how you're going to attack the job, they're going to see the effort that you put in. And they're going to see, wow, this guy came out, he spent an hour, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Where a lot of guys don't do that. A lot of girls don't do that. I'm talking from everybody, guys and girls. You have to do that. You put the time and you get the results back from it. And again, the time is really information that these people really need. They don't understand what they're about to do. Their job is totally different from the home improvement business. So again, what you really want to be saying to close it is, have I answered all your questions? Is there anything else I can do right now to make this deal so we can go forward? And also, is there anything I can do price wise to help you afford your project? And that's a couple different things there now. Because is there anything I could do to help you price wise to help you afford this project today? And now they might say, obviously, lower your price. Okay, great. If I lower my price, will you sign a contract today? If I give you that discount right now, will you sign today? And that's really what you're trying to do. You need to get them to sign right now. And how you do that is you ask them at the end of your presentation, is there anything else that I can answer for you? And the biggest question is, what can I do today, right now, to have you sign with us as your trusted company to do your project? What can I do for you that would have you sign right now to have you pick us as your trusted contractor? And they're going to say price. Price is always a big thing. Maybe time. Maybe when can you do it? Um, you know, there's a lot of ways to do that now. And I don't know what the questions would be as far as what they would be saying, but a lot of times people do price, timing of the project. Can I get an upgrade? Um, if I sign today, what percentage off can I get? So a lot of things go into how people make a decision to sign that contract that particular day. But I will say that the number one thing I've seen over 30 years is price. Price is probably the number one objective to losing that client. So when you ask them, what can I do for you today to close this deal? You should expect them to come back and say, well, could you lower the price? I mean, that's probably 9 out of 10 times. And you should be able to say, absolutely, absolutely, I could do that for you. And then you ask them, well, what price range were you thinking? And again, what you want to do is always throw the question back to them. And now they'll be sitting there thinking of a number. And then you come to a compromise because now you have this person debating the cost, not the job. And once you have that happening, you have it. You are going to close this job if you use your noodle. Okay, guys and girls? So, what you need to do is, once obviously they're going to come back and give you a number, you have to say, well, what if you negotiate that number. And then once you negotiate that number, that's when you won. That's where you, as the salesperson, are now winning. You need to get this client or customer to that point of negotiating the price. And once you do that, the whole project is off the table. It becomes a negotiation to actually do the job. Understand that, though. A lot of guys and girls, salespeople, don't understand that. And so once you understand that, you are going to be very, very successful. So I wish you all the luck in the world. God bless and good luck.